Hi, I'm Chris Gasper, and this is Globe 10.0, joined today by Greg Lee. Well, the NBA has now canceled games through December 15th as the labor dispute drags on. By the way, that's 26% of the season, so who knows what we're going to get. The question is, when the NBA eventually does resume, whenever that is, are you going to be paying attention? Are you going to be locked into the NBA? Greg, you think fans are going to come back, or are they going to be ticked?
I think they'll come back, but here's I'm an NBA. I love the NBA, but admittedly, I don't start watching the NBA until after January because I have to in the NFL right now. So people don't pay attention right now. People forget that the NFL is going on right now. They have a lot. I'm being distracted by the NFL, so I don't really care before December 31st. I don't care. But after January 1st and into February, March, people start to itch when football is pretty much over, and then baseball comes rolling around, just getting started. People are starting to get the itch for the NBA, and I think they'll be back playing maybe a 50-game schedule. If not, the NBA is really making a really terrible mistake.
Yeah, I mean, if the NBA misses an entire season, they're in big trouble because I think people will tune it out. This is a real shame because I think the league had really gained some traction. You go back to the decision last summer, I think people were really sort of locked into the league and its narrative. You obviously have what's going on with the Miami Heat down there and sort of the big three that they have down there. You have Kevin Durant. Dirk Nowitzki was a great story winning the NBA championship. There's so much talent in the league. There's all these great young point guards. You have Chris Paul. You have Darren Williams. There's a lot of really great players. The NBA is as good as it's been in a long time. And now this is a real big negative. I mean, this is not the NFL, Greg. No. People, the NFL, they didn't miss any games.
No.
They didn't even miss training camp, and people were agitated. But that's basically been forgotten. They just wanted their football. Right. People will tune out the NBA if this thing continues to drag on. They will, just like they did the NHL.
Right. I totally agree with that assessment. I just think that now it's not really much of a focus point. Whereas in for the NFL is such beloved by every person, and it's their part of their fall ritual. So if that affected anyone, that's why the NFL got it done, because they knew that affected everyone because it's a fall thing. Whereas the NBA, it's right in the middle of the fall. No one really game plans for it. No one prepares for that. No one plans for that. So I just think that it's a real big mistake if the NBA does not continue, as you mentioned, take advantage of all the good things that they've built up over the last couple of years.
I think you're right. As long as the NBA can be back by January or after the Super Bowl, I think they'll be fine because people will be paying attention. But if they're not back at all this year, I think it's really going to hurt the game moving forward.